Hi, welcome to Making All the Plans. I'm Connie, and if we haven't met before, I'm a busy mom of two active kids, and both my husband and I have full-time careers. My goal is to share with you how I stay on top of all life throws at me in one planner so that you might be able to do the same. I have been so excited to use these cow stickers. I got them off of Etsy. They're from the Digital Media Co. And I'd never used stickers from this shop before, I don't think, but these cows were just super cute. I also pulled some of the brighter colors from the images to make my own box stickers. And then I grabbed some washi. I originally thought I would use that diagonal stripe, but I thought it might be a little much for this page with the colorful boxes. So instead, I pulled a few different options and decided to go with the black and white text instead. So my thought for this spread is that I will take this washi tape and cover an entire box each day. And I'm going to completely mix it up. I'm not going to put my calendar events just at the top. I am going to spread them throughout the page. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go through and figure out which boxes need this washi tape. And I didn't like that there was just a little bit left at the top, so I am going to try to fill in the whole box from top to bottom. I did leave one edge rough, and I kind of like how that looks. I think it looks a little less formal and a little more farm-like. Yeah, I don't know if my reasoning makes sense or not, but I did like the raw edge in this situation. But my plan is to put the washi tape in the background and then take a cow and a box and combine them together to put a cluster on top of the washi tape. So even though I knew this is what I wanted to do for this spread, it still took me almost 45 minutes to put the entire spread together. It also took probably 15 minutes to resize and print and cut the stickers. So all in all, probably an hour to build this entire spread. My goal is to be transparent and not make you think that these spreads are quick and then once you get into them, they take you forever. Some of these spreads are time consuming, and I just want you to know that up front. So while I am getting this started, a little bit of a life update. Soccer is in full swing. Although we are still in preseason, I think each kid had 3 scrimmages this week. I lost count. Plus, my daughter is a swing, which means she is playing on JV and varsity. So that makes for a longer day or a longer night. And then my son is playing varsity. He is a senior, so we've been dealing with a lot of the senior stuff that needs to happen as well. So there is a lot on my plate right now. So one of the reasons why I do spend so much time decorating my spreads is one, a little bit of creative outlet. If you're anything like me, I need something that helps me reduce my stress and anxiety, especially this time of year, and having a senior is adding to that. So I do need something that helps me curb that a little bit. And two, if I make my spread appealing to come back to, I will live in it during the week. If I look at it and don't like it, I won't come back. Also, a little disclaimer, since it is fall, both kids are now playing soccer. I do have a tendency to lose my voice or my voice to get very scratchy. So I do apologize for that, but I am going to cheer for my kids. That's just in my nature. So I do apologize if it gets a little rough here and there. And just so you know how crazy the soccer schedule is, I needed to find a 2 or 3 day window when I could make a trip to Cleveland for work. And there were 2 day spans where I could go to Cleveland in August or September. There's two. That includes even if I wanted to work on the weekends. There are still only 2 slots where I had 2 days together where I didn't have to either miss a game or rush back for a game. There is one period of time in September where there's a bit of a lull, but that is when I'm going to Boston for a conference. So I don't know how that magically worked out. I'm hoping that the game schedules don't change very much, but I will only miss one of each of the kids' games while I'm in Boston. So right now the plan is to make one trip to Cleveland in August, go to Boston in September, and then I'm betting that other free 2-day break that I have from soccer, I have a feeling we'll be back in Cleveland. There is just a lot of moving parts happening right now that need to be coordinated. But just as an example of a soccer week, my daughter had a scrimmage on Tuesday, an hour away. Then my daughter had a scrimmage Thursday morning at 9 a.m., so I got to take some time off of work to go to that. And again, since she's playing JV and varsity, I tried to stay the entire time, but I ended up leaving at halftime during the varsity game since she had already played in the first half. And you can only play 3 halves a day. And then I ran to work for a few hours and then picked my daughter up from the house and went back to school to watch my son's game. And we were able to catch a little bit of the JVA game. Then on Saturday, my daughter had a scrimmage. Again, it was about an hour away. It was right in the heat of the day. It was so hot on Saturday, but she played the full junior varsity game and then played the second half of the varsity game. And she didn't want to ride the bus home because she wanted to come home with me, get food, and then get back to the high school for my son's game. We also wanted to watch some of her friends' game. So again, we were back at the high school to watch most of the JVA game as well as the varsity game. So I think I left the house about 12:30, and we did stop at home briefly so we could change and get a little freshened up, probably about 10 minutes at home, then back to the high school, and we did not get home until probably 10:30. So a little bit crazy of a day. I did figure out after recording my monthly meal plan video that I probably should plan for 1 or 2 fewer meals each week. So instead of planning a meal for 6 days of the week, I should probably only do 4 or 5 days of the week. I thought that we would have time in between my daughter's game and my son's game to come home, heat up food, and go, but that just was not in the cards. So just having to figure in that travel time was not calculating for some reason. Even though this is not our first year being involved in soccer, it is the first year that both kids are playing a high school sport. So let's get this last cow cluster down and we will move on to the next step. I do want to mention a couple of tools I'm using. I am using that slice precision cutter and I love that because it doesn't tend to cut through the paper like an X-Acto knife does. I'm also using a Live Love Posh washi tape cutter, and you don't need anything fancy here, and I frequently lose it on my desk and end up using a ruler or something else, but I do like to have it. It's pretty and functional. But I think this cow spread turned out so cute. I do still want to put in numbers and some lines, so let's get started on that. I did grab a variety of pins and mild liners because I want to try to tie the colors in from the boxes into the other things that I'm planning. This is the Chrissy Ann design stencil. I'm pretty sure I'm using the 5 millimeter spacing, but she does have a variety of spacing options. I am drawing a lot of lines each day this week, and I'm going to try to not overwhelm myself, but there are a lot of senior things happening, and I just want to make sure that I have plenty of space to write all those things down. This past week, we had to do the senior ad and help our kids do their senior bios. By helping, I mean making sure they filled them out. But this week, my kids each have 2 scrimmages. Unfortunately, one scrimmage overlaps the other on Tuesday, so I'll have to pick where I am going. My daughter has 2 doctor's appointments this week. My son has a hair appointment. There are soccer pictures and then videos for the big screen, as well as senior pictures for soccer as well. Then there's schedule pickup, and both kids have an appointment with their counselors. So just a very busy week. Oh, and we are getting an IKEA delivery on Monday, which means Monday, the first thing I'm going to want to do is put that together and get that situated. And hopefully that will help me wrap up my basement clean out. But I am just writing a lot of lines because of all of those moving parts. Thankfully, that doesn't necessarily mean that there is a big task that will go along with the item that I write here. It will just be a reminder, or it could be just a short thing. For example, that bio thing that the seniors had to do, it took about 2 minutes, but it was something that needed to be done by today. So having a lot of lines has been helpful the last couple of weeks. Sometimes it's very overwhelming, but for this season, I need a lot of lines. I'm actually loving the colorfulness of this spread. I am hoping that that does not add to my overwhelm this week. When I have a very busy week, I don't necessarily like to put this much visual clutter on the page, but I think it's going to work this week. At least I hope it's going to work this week. I am going to drop in some numbers for the dates of the week. And again, these are all mixed into the different sections. It's not running across the top like I usually do, but I just needed something different and something fun this week. And a lot of times when I'm getting to this stage, I feel like I just need to completely change up my planner pages, but I honestly don't have the time for that. So instead, I went with something a little bit out of the box for me, pretty colorful, and hopefully by next week, I will be settled back into this spread and not feeling the need to change things up again. So I'm loving how this looks, but I'm feeling like the calendar items are getting a little lost. So I decided to come back through and draw a box inside of the box where my calendar items are going to go, just so that it can stand out a little bit more. And I'm just using those same pens that I used to draw my lines. And I'm just freehanding these because, again, I'm trying to go with that more free-flowing look, and I think it does work out in the end. But once I get these boxes drawn in, this will be my spread for the week. Come back tomorrow where I put my weekly action plan together. I hope you'll join me. But if you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.